Hey y'all, Shellyfish here. Just figured I'd bring you another little video here. I am going to be participating in the 6FanArtChallenge. So I just figured I'd show you a little bit of what I'm working on. I have already kind of pre-started the outline here. Once again, I messed up my first recording because my brush tool wasn't working properly and I had to restart my programs. Haha. So here we are. But I have a little bit of time to kill. I live in the desert and it is super hot outside, and I'm waiting for the sun to start going down so I can take my dogs out on a walk. So I gotta kill about an hour. I don't think the video is gonna be that long, but I figured I'd kill some time this way. So let me go ahead, jump right in, and introduce you to my characters. Before I do that, though, I do want to go ahead and give proper kudos here to the person who I ripped the template off of. Haha. And I may end up making my own, but I will definitely at least trace their little boxes here. I don't even want to mess up their username here, so at art, thank you so much for your template. And the artworks themselves were drawn by me, Shellyfish. Hey. So let me go ahead and introduce you. So I've got 3 boys, 3 girls, some of my favorite characters. And I'm just going to kind of start one character at a time. I may do a video on all 6, I may not. Just kind of briefly talking about whatever. I may just, at least do the line art for this one, and then I may just color the rest of them, just to kind of save on time. But let me go ahead and dive in. So my very first characters here, I've got Tali'Zorah Vas Normandy, Vash the Stampede, Bulma Briefs, Pip Barnadette, Nezuko Kamado, and Krieg the Psycho. I love these guys. They are some of my favorites. I've probably got about 1 million favorites, and every time I'm going to draw something, I'm probably going to be like, hey, this is my favorite. So just expect that. But I've already, like I said, I've already kind of started here. Let me just kind of show you what I've done so far. This is me sort of messing up. My lines are a little funky right now because, like I said, my brush was not working. I plugged in my drawing tablet after I launched Photoshop, and I always end up doing that, and that's a big no-no because then you have to restart. Otherwise, your pen pressure doesn't register, so I can fix that, though. What I usually do if I have like a weird bulky line and I don't really feel like going in and redrawing, I'll just sort of come in with my eraser and cheat a little bit and just kind of like round off the edges here and there to like give it a little bit of a better look. But, yeah, Mass Effect, man. That is one of my favorite games in the history of video games. It's, like, I've always played video games since I was, like, I don't know, teenager. I used to play on, like, the GameCube is what I started off on, and I had, like, a PlayStation when I was a kid. And I would play, like, oh god, I don't even remember. Like, I played The Sims a lot, stuff like that. And then I played, like, Croc 2 or something like that on the PlayStation. And then when I got with my husband, he had always played on, like, an Xbox growing up. And he had, like, consoles since he was, like, a kid. And I think I had, like, a Nintendo 64. And I had, like, a Game Boy Color. And I would play Frogger, stuff like that when I was a kid. So that's the kind of stuff that I grew up with. But yeah, he had, he wanted an Xbox. And for our first or second anniversary, I think it was our first anniversary. Definitely second. We were living together. Our second anniversary, I saved up some money from my paycheck, and I went to a pawn shop, and I bought a Xbox 360. And it was kind of funny because the guy, he was selling like a special edition. I can't remember exactly what game it is. for, but he was selling like a special edition Xbox 360, and it was cheaper than just like a regular one, and it had a bigger like hard drive on it as well. And so me being the not so smart person I am, I'm like, why is that one cheaper? And he just like gives me this look, the shop owner guy, and he just like, he looks at me and he goes, do you really want to be asking me that question right now? And I just like looked at him and I was like, tee no. And he just like gave me that look like, yeah, that's what I thought. And we got to talking, and that is probably one of the very few times I've ever used like my tee I'm a dumb girl, I don't know anything about anything, because I don't know why. I was like trying to finagle him down to a cheaper price basically. And it ended up working. And I don't know. I was just like, I don't know anything about taxes and and I don't get how you price items, like just stupid dumb stuff like that, and I'm so fascinated in the pawn store. Wow, that sounds horrible. Pawn store industry. And what ended up happening at the end of it, like, he was like, you're a nice girl, la 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 la, you should shop here more often. I'll tell you what, go ahead and go grab 2 free games. So I got to go like grab 2 free games for for the Xbox 360. And for whatever reason, he also was like, you know what, I'm gonna waive the taxes too. So like, this guy waived the taxes, and I was just like, oh, thanks. And he's like, you gonna go play with your friends? And I was like, nah, I'm gonna go, or I told him, like, no, it's for my husband, boyfriend at that point. And so I brought it home, and I was, like, trying to think, my husband was, like, on the way home from work, and so I was, like, trying to think of what I could wrap it in really quick, and, like, right as I'm like, maybe I'll just, like, put it, wrap it in like newspaper and make it kind of look like vintage newspaper wrapped. That'll look kind of cool. Yeah. Right as I thought that, my husband just like drives into the driveway in his truck, and I was just like, no. And so I panic and I grab a stupid towel, which was like the closest thing. It was sitting on the couch. And I just like throw the towel over the Xbox, and right as I do that, I turn around and I have like this guilty look on my face, and he walks in the door and he just like gives me this look like, I'm obviously up to something, but he doesn't know what. And so I step to the side, and I'm like, happy anniversary. And I pull the towel up like, like a bowl or something, and I just whip it up, happy anniversary and Xbox, hooray. And that's, the story of how I first ended up playing Mass Effect, even though it has nothing to do with Mass Effect. My husband had played it before, but he told me like about it, and it sounded really good, and all he had to tell me was that it had like aliens and space stuff, and like I was down 100%. And he got Mass Effect, the first game. We went to the store and it was on sale for like whatever, $20 at the time, because it hadn't been out for like super long. And I just watched him play because I didn't know anything about video games at that point. And I just, like, fell in love. I fell in love with all the characters and the gameplay and the storylines. And, like, I don't know why I'm doing that. Go away. But, yeah, it was magical. Like, going to space, and I'm, like, super ridiculously obsessed with space. I love space, and I wanted to be an astronaut, but I also kind of wanted to take a submarine down to the bottom of the ocean. So it seems to me like I just want to, do whatever gets me apparently as far away from Earth as I can possibly go. But yeah, this game definitely like took me there. I love the different options you can take. I love the different storylines and the different romances, even though the only person I ever romanced was Garrus. Garrus was, to me, the only viable option. I am definitely, I don't know, the human, was it Cade, I think his name was? Yeah, Cade. Cade was like the only other option that I was personally interested in, and I did romance him once, and I'll tell you what, Cade is redunculous. There's like a fan group, like a horde of fangirls. They love him. And every time I romanced him, it's like high maintenance and he doesn't really respond and it's just not fun. And his personality doesn't really strike me as anything special personally. This is just my personal opinion. So if you're like a Cade fan, nothing personal. Everybody likes who they like. Cade just, I don't know, was not interesting to me. But, then there was, you know, of course, the alien Garrus, and the second I met him and was like, oh my god, you have a personality and a sense of humor. Take me. And that was it. Like, I love him. And usually it was like Tali and Garrus that I would take on all my missions with me in the first games, first and second. And, like, obviously later down the line, I would, like, experiment with different characters, but I still always found myself, like, coming back to Tali and Garrus at the end of the day. But that was a super fun game, and I really, like, appreciate that game because it helped me actually write my stories. Like, I basically learned how to write stories based off of stories I read. Like, I didn't really ever do any special training classes or anything like that, so it was just material that I came across that taught me. And so, like, you're gonna see a lot of, like, universe star, oh, excuse my phone, you're gonna see a lot of, like, universe and star colors and, like, stuff like that, shooting stars all over my comics, because I just love space. I love it. Okay, so now I need to make the decision here. This is probably gonna take a while, but what I'm probably gonna do in this case, instead of just, like, you know, you can just sit here and, like, hand draw all of these lines here, but what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, like, draw one, basically, and then I'm going to just copy it and put it in different spots. So I might kind of show you a little bit of that. Boop. And I don't know, I probably should have made that, like, white. I think Tali, I don't remember. Hold on, let me go to Chrome really quick. I think it's white stripes. Shows me for not having a reference picture. Tali'Zorah Vas Normandy. Okay. Let me see. So, that's not a good picture. Some of them she's got these, some of them she doesn't. So apparently this is my own design. I can't tell. That's a cool picture. I wish I could paint like that. Oh my gosh, I understand there's, like, different styles for everyone, but man. Alright, can I tell from here? Yeah, that's totally white. Oh well. I guess it's called fan art for a reason. But yeah, what I usually do is, like, for, like, repeating patterns and stuff, I'll make, like, one original image, and I'll just call this, like, pattern 1, question mark, and then these will just be, I'm going to hide that one just in case I need to come back and make some more. And then how I believe it is it just kind of looks like the pattern went like that, I guess. And then most of the time to, like, get that curve, where is it? Transform, and I believe it's distort. Nope. Hit enter. I always mess this up. Warp. Yes, okay, warp. That's what you want. And I'm just gonna, like, kind of make this look a little more curvy to the arm piece here. Stretch that out. Yeah, that looks great. This is gonna take, like, a super long time because I'm basically gonna do, like, the shoulders and then the breast area and, like, in between here. And I usually like fill in little details and stuff like that that I don't necessarily sketch. Most of the cool stuff you see like in the comic itself ends up just kind of being me coming up with it on the fly, because like drawing it is just like the basic stuff. The basic details kind of get worked out there for me anyways, and then I kind of go from there. Oh, that needs to go down. Yeah, that looks awesome. And then what I come in here, and you can either like mask this off. I'm just going to erase it because I don't really care. And then I'm just going to basically clean this up as I go. I might put the whole thing down and then clean up the outlines. I might clean it up as I go. I'm not sure. But what I do is I like keep these on separate layers. And then like once I have it all cleaned up, I'll usually like conjoin the layers together just so I'm not running down the processor of my computer with all the layers. There we go. And then you can just click that off and you can sort of see what this is going to start to look like. And then, I don't know, I might finish finishing the lines, and then I might do another video of the coloring process, just because I really don't want to make these like, half an hour long videos. Unless you want to see longer videos, let me know. And then eventually, like I said, I am going to be working on those speed paints. That's just kind of my next thing that I'm going to be teaching myself how to do, so look forward to those soon. But yeah, that's basically just a little bit of line process with me today. So I appreciate you coming to the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe. Definitely go check out Elliot's Journal on Webtoons and subscribe. Tell your friends. I want my webtoon to go somewhere. So I'm manifesting it to my followers. But thank you anyways for everything you guys do. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks again for stopping by.